Hello and welcome to another Patreon-sponsored review. This comes from Jacob Elo asking me to talk about 12 Angry Men, the 1957 movie. This was supposed to be June's video, but things happened and then things kept happening, so here we are. I think it was in 6th grade when I went to the local high school to see a production of 12 Angry Jurors, which to my knowledge is based off the movie 12 Angry Men, and my takeaway from it was very different from what I came away from this movie with. At the time, I thought that the show was trying to say that justice is hard. It's hard to know what exactly happened when you weren't in the room there with it. But that's not what this movie is saying. It's not just about how complicated justice really is in trying to decide who's guilty and who's not. Frankly, it's about people's desire to not have to think about things. To not have to challenge things that we just take for granted. Basically, at the start of the movie, everyone is sure that the kid is guilty. The kid killed his father. There's no way to argue against the evidence saying that. But then as the movie goes along, we see that there's plenty of reason to doubt said evidence. With just a moment's more thought, reasons to say that the kid killed his father are pretty flimsy. And it's not that the jurors are just not considering the things told to them by the prosecution, but there's a lot of things that they're not thinking about, that they're just taking for granted as true because someone else said they are. Foreigners are to be despised because they don't have the respect for the English language to learn how to speak properly, when most people who speak English don't know how to speak any other language besides it. Immigrants are all bad, they're here to take our jobs, they're the pinnacle of evil until they agree with us, and they can be used as a pawn to further whatever we're saying is right. We claim to believe in a system where everyone gets an equal and fair try at justice, but then we believe that there are some people who are lucky to even get a trial at all? And one of the craziest things about these flaws in thought and with our justice system is that they still exist. They're not just a 1957 problem. We still inherently think immigrants are bad, that someone can be predetermined to be evil based on their socioeconomic status and where they live. That elders are automatically supposed to be respected until they don't support whatever we're trying to push. It's just crazy to see such a savage takedown of not only an anti-intellectual society, but also our American justice system. Like, I'm astonished that in 1957 that they were able to point out that there is a wealth bias in justice. That court-appointed attorneys are overworked and sometimes just suck. And if you're not rich enough, you're just stuck with them. You can't choose or find a better lawyer to argue your case. And depending on how good your lawyer is, that will determine how the jury sees you, regardless of if you did the crime or not. It also points out how very much the people involved in the trial just want to get it over with. To you, this is your life in the balance, but to the judge, the jurors, and everyone else, it's just another Monday. You can see this in how bored the judge looks as he tells the jurors that they're about to decide if a man lives or dies. It's just another day at the office. We can see this as people enter and move throughout the courthouse. While the camera's trying to tell us that very important things are going down here, the people in it are just like another day at the office. Even these jurors, the ones who are tasked with deciding if a man literally lives or dies, they can barely be bothered to talk about it for at least an hour before deciding his fate. They just want to get it over with. There's a ball game to go to. It's too hot to sit in this room and seriously discuss something that they frankly can't be bothered to think about. They're told that this person is guilty, so he's guilty. Let's move on with our lives. And while the movie is encouraging people to critically think about things, it recognizes also that it's hard. You're taught from an early age that you should just go with whatever authorities tell you, and that is very difficult to unprogram. It's not easy to take time and consider all the things that you're told. It's mentally taxing. And I think the movie does a good job of physically showing how difficult it is on these people to actually think. We see them physically encouraged to turn their brains off by external factors, things they've got to do after the court proceeding's done, how unbearably hot it is in the juror deliberation room. It's almost dinner time, guys, so can we just wrap this up? There will always be seemingly good reasons to not think, and that's very dangerous. If that one juror did not stand up to all 11 others and say, "I'm not okay with just saying guilty," then a man would have died that day. As the movie goes along, it very clearly points out that there is no reason to assume that the guy on trial actually did the murder. And yet he was still pushed very close to that electric chair just by sheer apathy. They didn't want to think about it. They didn't want to challenge their inherent beliefs that they grew up with. Thinking is hard, so most people don't want to do it. Not only are there a lot of really good and important messages in this movie to the point where I would literally tell everyone to watch it, but it is so well crafted too. I love the long shots. I wish there was more long shots in modern media because they can be used to a lot of good effects. I love how when the movie opens, we see this big, imposing building that is the courthouse, and that is where our story is going to take place. And then the camera leads us throughout that courthouse, throughout that world, and then into the story already in progress. It basically takes our hand and gives us the setting without someone getting on screen and saying, "Hey, we're in a courthouse, guys." There didn't need to be someone telling us that we are at the tail end of a trial or the facts and matters of the trials. Instead, all that information was woven in either with visual cues with the camera or by the jurors just talking nonchalantly about the trial. All of the information didn't feel like it was exposited towards us. It just felt natural. It just happened. It's just a natural feature of these 12 men who sat through countless hours of discussion. I adored how pieces of information and points that could be refuted later were brought up, but not always addressed right away. Basically, the movie would continually put pins up for us to remember to come back to things and then actually return to them. There weren't any dropped plot threads, and boy were there a lot of threads. Each character felt very developed in their own right, which is pretty difficult when there's 12 of them. We basically understood most of them and where they're coming from and why. They all kind of started out as caricatures, but then we got to dig into them as they had to challenge their own personal biases in order to come to the right conclusions. And then, after all of this, after such long and heated discussions in a sweltering room, they all just leave. They just go on with their lives nonchalantly. Again, while someone dances close to death, for the jurors and all the people involved in the justice system, it's just another Monday. Even though there's a feeling of satisfaction, catharsis, justice is done, that this obviously innocent kid gets to walk free, the movie still points out that this is just one instance. How many other court cases are going on where innocent people are being sentenced to death, having their lives ripped from them because they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time? How many other juror deliberation rooms are going unused because the jury just agrees with whatever seems okay? That we can't trust that there's always going to be that one juror at least who is willing to stand up and say that he's not just going to agree with the crowd, that he does believe there's probable cause, that what the prosecution is saying is not right, that our justice system is inherently flawed. It worked out this time, but we can't count on it always doing that. What if next time all of the 12 jurors are filled with people who just go with whatever they're told? There will still be innocent people going to the chair because our system is still fucked up. One victory won't change everything. And again, this isn't unique to the 1950s. There are still a lot of inherent biases that are shown in this movie that exist today. Anti-immigrationism, classism, ageism. We've got a long way to go. And that's why I think everyone should watch this movie. It's very relevant today, even if it is in black and white and made almost 50 years ago. Thank you very much, Jacob Bilo, for paying me to watch this movie. I'm glad I did, and I want to own it. And if anyone has been trying to get around to watching it or is on the fence about watching it, you definitely need to. Thank you very much for consuming this video, and until next time.